We're going to present about an export of asparagus to Japan. The members are Alondra Castillo, Joana Espinoza, Yerina Lumbreras, and Valeria Sotelo. About the description of the product is the presentations of the asparagus are in fresh, canned, frozen, prepared, dehydrated, a tray of boxes of 6 kilograms or 12 kilograms. The production areas are La Libertad, Ancash, Lima, and Ica.
About the product and the business idea, we compare the import of the world and the export of Peru and the value per kg, and the value per kg about the import is higher than the value per g of the export of Peru. About the import of Japan, Peru is the third country that exports to Japan, and we can see a lot of demand about the Japanese market. And also we consider the Japanese consumer, and the Japanese consumer has a high purchase value, demand quality in local and international producers, and the green asparagus is the favorite of Japanese consumer.
In the export logistic cost, we have that we are gonna have our plant in Ica, and we're gonna transport that to the warehouse in Lima, and finally arrive to the airport of Callao. And the freight is gonna be, or the transportation is gonna be by air. This basically because it's the one of the most used transportation to transport these asparagus to Japan because it needs to be refrigerated. Once we arrive to Japan, we're gonna arrive to Haneda Airport, and then we are gonna take the product to the buyer's warehouse. This is the air route, and we are gonna go from Lima to Mexico, that it takes 8 hours and 30 minutes. And then from Mexico to Tokyo, that takes 27 hours and 55 minutes. Here we have the export cost, and we are gonna export 400 boxes. Each one is of 5 kilograms. This is gonna give us a total of export of $5,965.30, and we're gonna have a profit of 45%. We have the export cost here, and basically we need to add it, the inspection, handling, the inland freight, and this will give us a FCA Callao of $7,250. And also we have here the international freight that is going to be by Air Canada. And the cost of the international freight according to C6, it is $5.3 per kilogram. And we are going to export a total of 2,000 kilograms, which gives us a total of $10,600 just in international freight. And then we have a SIP Haneda of $18,212.50. We're not going to pay taxes because we're a member of the EPA, that is the Economic Association Agreement between Japan and Peru, and a VAT of 10%. This is going to give you, this is going to give us a total cost of DDP Tokyo of $19,172.50.
We analyze some factors about the instruments. The first one is the tariff, also the application, parties involvement, and the documents. In the case of forfeiting, the tariff is 0.10% according to the BBVA. When the exporter needs to speed up cash collection, and also the entity finance the 100%. The person involved is the exporter, the importer, the forfeited, and the issuing bank. In the case of factoring, is the 21% according to the Scotian Bank. The seller wants to accelerate their cash flow, offering their invoice to a factor with finance the 80% or 19%, and the parties involved is the seller, the buyer, and the factor. In this case, we can use both to accelerate our cash flow. Those are useful for our business because have more benefits for exporters. In the case of leasing, the tariff is the 16% according to the Scotian Bank. It is a financial leasing agreement used when the company wants to acquire goods or fixing assets, and the parts involved are the customer, the supplier, and the leasing company. The leasing will be good option, but we don't import fixing or another. And in the case of the EC8, we don't have an entity in Peru. The application, it is used when the exporter want to issue the export insurance solution and financial guarantee. The parties are the exporter, the buyer, and the export credit agency. And in the case of a standby letter of credit, the tariff is $2,060.18 according to the interbank. The application, it is used when the buyer doesn't comply with the agreement of payment. In this case, like I mentioned, only used when the applicant doesn't comply with the payment. Maybe later we can use it. Also, we can use the letter of credit because it is a first negotiation with the other parties of the relationship of true has not been generated. There is a recourse payment. The document guarantees the payment and eliminates the external risk, such as currency or country risk. In this case, we use a tariff of BBVA. Like it's an advanced tariff and is $132. The parties are the exporter or beneficiary, the importer or applicant, the issuing bank, and the advancing or confirming bank.
According to the sources for the derivatives, we used interbank. We have long-term deposit information and also the lend rate. We have the information in soles and in dollars. About financing using futures, we have an assumption that the company has a contract signed today in June 2019. We are assuming that that the spot price is $4.8 per pound, and the future price in September is $5 per pound. And assuming that the spot price in September closes at 4.9, then the result of the operation will be a sell contract of $5 per pound minus the buy contract, which is 4.9 per pound, which give us earnings of 0.1 per pound dollars. Also assuming that if the operation involved 40,000 pounds and also required a margin of $20 of the value of the contract, then the final position of the operation will be a required margin of $50,000 and a final position of $54,000. About the financing using synthetic futures, we have an assumption about that in the asparagus, June asparagus futures is trading at $40, and also each futures contract covers 1,000 boxes of asparagus. Then, as future options trader, we as a future options trader enter a synthetic long futures position by selling June asparagus 40 put for $5,100 and also buying June asparagus 40 gold for $4,800, which give us a net credit received upon entering the trade is $300, which is also an information. Then we have an assumption that if June asparagus 40 futures rises and trading at $50 on option expiration date, then the short June 40 put will expire. Will expire, but the long June 40 calls expires in the money and has also an intrinsic value of $10,000, including the initial credit of $300, which I mentioned earlier, and which give us a trader's profit comes of $10,300. Comparatively, this will be very close to the profit of $10,000 for a long futures position. About the financing using forwards, we have an assumption that supposing we want to know how many soles we need to pay for a letter of credit of $3,000 with a maturity of 90 days, then we take a position on a forward contract with a financial institution for 90 days, and they will have the following information about the spot XR, which is 3.542 soles per dollar and 3.547 soles per dollar. And assuming that the spot price at the end of the 90 days is 3.60 soles per dollar. We have a forward XR ask of 3.663 and a profit of minus 0.06 soles per dollar. The total profit, which will be a loss of 189.85 soles.
Okay, here we have the financing using auctions. So basically here we're gonna use the put auction. Okay, so the company that is our company is Asparagus Perusat has planned to sell asparagus to the Japanese Fuji Corporation. And the actual price is 9.59 per kilogram, and the size of the contract is 2,000 kilograms. And we have the expectation that the price will decrease, so we're making an assumption here that the strike price it is $9.30 on July 12th today, and the spot price is $8 on the expiration date on January 12th of 2021, which is in 6 months, and we have an APR of 0.30% according to Interbank. And we can see first that we are in the money by $1.30. Just if we make a mathematic formula between 9.30 and $8, this means also that we are going to have a profit per kilogram of 1.30 cents dollar and a total profit of 2,600 if we do 1.3 times 2,000 kilograms. And also we need to bring this profit to the present and using the APR. So this is going to give us a present value of total profits of $2,596.11. And here in the graph, we can see that if we have a spot price of $8, we're gonna end up winning money. But if we have a spot price that is 9.30, 9.40, that means that we are gonna lose money. In the case of that we have now, that we are making our assumption, we're gonna exercise the put option. Here we have the financing using swaps. So basically, here we have the Fuji Corporation that is going to go to the Japan Post Bank, and that company wants a variable rate. And we have here our company that we want a fixed rate. So to understand this, we're going to focus on our case, that is our company, the Peruvian company. So we're gonna go to the interbank and they're gonna say that we need to pay 10% of the fixed rate. So that's a lot of money, a lot of interest. And they're gonna give us a variable rate of LIBOR plus 1%. But if we find another bank that is a swap bank, they're gonna tell us that we just need to pay them 8.5%, which is less interest. But according to do this, the swap bank is gonna ask us to pay to the interbank the LIBOR percentage. But this will end like this. The swap bank is gonna pay us the LIBOR. We're gonna pay the LIBOR to interbank, but in this situation right now, we are not winning or losing money. So we are gonna pay it to the interbank 8.5% in order that they pay us LIBOR. So if we compare to the interbank rate, we're gonna realize that we are paying 8.5% instead the fixed rate the 10%. And this is going to give a total of saving, and that is in the middle of the squares, that is 9.5%. And the same happens to the FIE corporation. So we are all ending and decreasing our interest rate, and the swap bank also is going to make a profit of 0.5% of that.
Okay, also we analyze instruments and consider the advantage or disadvantage of each one. About trading, we consider increase the liquidity and less risks for the company, but may damage the relationship with importer. For factoring, provides capital according to the invoices, but the discount can be expensive. About the leasing, finance of the total of the carrot, but the company can get into bad debt. ECA less risk to the SMS to her fears exporting, but we can have restrictions by the government. And standby layer of credit, we consider the exporter company have guarantee of the payment, but the exporter and importer can cancel the standby layer of credit if the other part is not agreement. Okay, about the derivatives, respect to futures, the exporter company can hedge the price of the product in this moment, but the price of the product can change in favor of the exporter company. For synthetic futures, the exporter can maintain the future established, but high risk for the exporter if the price don't change in his favor. Respect to forwards, the exporter ensures the exchange rate of the sale, but the exchange rate can change in favor of the exporter. For option, it allows weighted leverage, so it generates greater profitability, but there are more indirect costs because the difference and liquidity. About swaps, the interest rate of the importer's bank can be in favor of the exporter maintain or wait during the transaction, but the interest rate of the importer's bank can be against to the transaction.
The conclusions and recommendations. First, we have that Japan has a market size and consumer profile for the product that is asparagus. And under the current situation, the pandemic, they should keep update the sanitary requirements that the Japanese market will establish. And also the letter of credit and factoring and forfeiting are the best option of financial instrument according of the business. And for the implementation of a financial instrument, it is necessary to take into account the advantage for the exporters, the cost and procedures of documents.
The other conclusion is derivatives are super useful to transfer risk in the market, but in Peru, not all people involved in business have the knowledge about the derivatives, and its a recommendation is bank advisors should provide information about derivatives as a useful tools that can benefit both because they will attract more clients. For example, you go to the bank for letter of credit and they explain how use, and also you will know more information. And the final conclusion is the use of a swap allows both parties, exporter and importer, and the swap bank to have less percent of interest rate and percent of profits respective. And its recommendation is, in the case of asking for a loan, it will be beneficial for both companies to finance themselves using swap derivatives. Thank you.
Thank you.